Hey everybody, welcome on into another episode of William Bets. I'm your host Jason Mattis as always, and we got William Blackwell back with us here again as we preview our weekly NASCAR show. As we look back at the last race, go ahead and preview the race coming up. How's it going today there, William?
Oh, it's going good. It's race weekend at Richmond. It cannot get much better than that. Looking forward to it.
That sure is. You may not know that, but Richmond is actually my hometown race. Grew up in Richmond, Virginia, went to this racetrack a few times, and absolutely love the racing that you can get going on there at the Richmond short track and the flat track. I love it. Let's go ahead and remind everybody, William's got the YouTube channel. It's William Blackwell. You can find him on YouTube and also on Twitter at WBlackwell72. All of his great information is, of course, in this video description. Let's start off this conversation by taking a look back at Martinsville on the last weekend at the Blue MU 500, where obviously we know Martin Truex Jr. was the winner. I thought, he's been doing what his team's been doing throughout the season. It's really getting stronger as each race seems to progressing. But, to me, the unfortunate driver was probably Ryan Blaney. He was really dominant on the long runs, and I really think he's an air hose being pulled down pit road from probably being able to snatch that victory based on the last run being 40-ish laps. What are your thoughts there on Martinsville?
Martinsville, it was really surprising. We saw the GGR cars come to play. Obviously, Denny Hamlin was fast early on from the initial start, the green flag on Saturday night. And then when they went to Sunday, we saw the 19 car really aggressive. And the 20 car, Christopher Bell, was up and down. And Kyle Busch was up in the top 10. He had some type of mechanical failure around lap 350, I think it was. Things went south there. But altogether, the JGR cars look really fast. So that's one takeaway there.
Yeah, it certainly looked like that. I mean, you don't want to caution late in a race, but I think Denny Hamlin, based on how he was on those short runs, boy, I think he was begging for a caution to come out so he could have a 10 to 15 maybe lap run there at the end, and probably hold off Martin Truex and get the victory there. But Blaney winning stage 1, winning stage 2, just the racing was fantastic. All the bumping and smacking between the doors throughout that entire race. That's why we love Martinsville. It's just the racing is absolutely, like I said, absolutely fantastic. I don't know about you. Do you watch on YouTube the Radioactive that they put out there? I love that, and I'll tell you right now, Suarez was hot, Busch was hot. I love this weekend's episode of Radioactive.
Yeah, I watch Radioactive all the time. I always watch it since it came out back in 2012, I think it was, but it's been awesome. I love it, and I enjoy every single video.
All right, let's move the conversation on over to Richmond. Again, it's my home track. Absolutely love this. About a 3/4 mile, flat track, relatively short track, whatever you want to call it, intermediate, whatever. It's kind of in that little in-between area. It's a Toyota Owner 400. Last year, Keselowski was the guy to beat. Absolutely dominant, really, throughout the whole race. Great long-run car. When I look at Richmond, I try to predict maybe who's going to do well, besides maybe going on this current season. Obviously, you can look at Phoenix. It's kind of like the reverse track. You also kind of got New Hampshire as well. What are some other things when you look at going to this race, and also maybe how you kind of preview it?
Richmond is a type of track where I'm expecting the Toyotas to dominate. Obviously, Hamlin's going to be fast. It is his home track, if you will. And Martin Truex Jr. has always ran well here at Richmond in the past. Kyle Busch, too. And Christopher Bell is also someone to keep your eye on. But like I said, the Toyotas is what sticks out to me when NASCAR comes to Richmond every year.
It is called the Toyota Owner 400 for a reason. I know the Toyota camp would absolutely love that. Let's get on into our picks. We're going to break down the Jackpot Races on the Jackpot Races app, where we can win $25,000. This is where they give you 6 groups of drivers. You got to pick the driver to finish best amongst the group. Then you got to give them a winner and a second place finish. We'll alternate. I'll start off here first on Group 1. We've got Hamlin, we've got Truex, we've got Keselowski, we've got Logano, and we've got Larson. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Martin Truex Jr. I know sometimes it may be hard to kind of go back-to-back, but, what's really impressed me about his team is they seem to be making the right adjustments throughout the race, and at the end of the race, his team is going to be up there battling top 3, battling for a win. He was finished second last year in this race. When you look at the drivers pinned up in this group, he's got the best driver rating by 11 points. He's got the most top 5 finishes in the last 5 races, being 4 of those in the top 5. I love Martin Truex Jr. this week. How about you in this group?
Well, you kind of took my pick, but you know what? I'm going to pick the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, like I said, is his home track, and I'm expecting him to be a contender. He's going to lead tons of laps, and I'm pretty sure he's going to win at least one stage because he has a great starting position. He's starting second on my sheet right here. So, yeah, Denny Hamlin, I think, is going to probably have a good chance of winning this race.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think JGR is certainly going to be strong there as well. Let's move it on now to Group 2, where we got Kyle Busch, we got Elliott, Harvick, Byron, and Blaney. Who do you have in this group, William?
Well, at first, I was a little hesitant picking a Hendrick car. But when I look at William Byron's stats recently at short tracks, it's been outstanding, and I would be dumb not to pick him. William Byron has a great starting position. I think he is starting fourth, right behind his teammate Chase Elliott. But, yeah, I'm expecting William Byron to do really well.
We definitely have the same notes. I've got William Byron a little bit for little bit different reasons. I think if you're kind of a guy who kind of looks up stats, where obviously I do, the stats would kind of lend you to put maybe Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick, but I can't trust Kyle Harvick yet this year, and it's definitely not Stewart Haas Racing. Kyle Busch, he's just too much of a little bit of a whiner for me. I'm not a big Kyle Busch fan, but when I look at William Byron, this is what sticks out to me. Since the road course there in Daytona, first at Homestead, 8th at Las Vegas, 8th at Phoenix, 8th at Atlanta, 6th at Bristol, and 4th last week at Martinsville. I mean, you want to talk about team consistency right there in that number 24 car. Yeah, give me William Byron all day. May not have the stats at Richmond to suggest it, but the team has got all the momentum.
I do want to add one thing, though. Last year, William Byron had Chad Canals and stuff like that. They won at Daytona. But during the offseason, Chad Canals stepped down, and they promoted Rudy Fugle to be the new crew chief. Rudy Fugle is a big reason why William Byron is having this much success. I just, like, a lot of people don't mention that when they talk about William Byron, how consistent he is. It's because his crew chief, too, because Rudy Fugle, they were together in the truck series, what was it, 2015 or 2016? And they won many races, and they were just short of winning the championship. But just adding that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I would credit Smalls there at Martin Truex Jr. I think that's an excellent crew chief right there. The reason why Truex Jr. is doing good there. Good point there, William. Let's move it over now to Group 3, where we've got Austin Dillon, Kurt Busch, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, and Bubba Wallace. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Austin Dillon for me, and it was relatively easy here. Look, if you look at Richmond last year, second in Stage 1, second in Stage 2, and finished the race in fourth place. I think he'll easily beat out these groups of drivers. Who do you have here amongst these guys?
I like the Austin Dillon pick, but you know what? I'm going to have to support the one car of Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch won this race back in 2015 during the day before they went to night racing and the first time around the year. And I expect him to be really fast. I know these last couple of races have been kind of rough on him. Not so well at Martinsville. The Bristol dirt pretty much explains it itself. In Atlanta, he got wrecked at the beginning of Stage 3. So a lot has been going the opposite direction he was hoping for, but I think he gets things turned around this Sunday at Richmond.
All right, there's it is, the number 1 car there for William Blackwell. Move over to Group 4. We've got Almirola, Dibendetto, Newman, Stenhouse, and Reddick. Who's your picks amongst these drivers?
I'm picking Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick hasn't been running so well this season. He finished runner-up at Homestead of William Byron, and last week he got home top 10 finish. And it surprised a lot of people, including myself. And you know what? I think momentum carries over, and he gets a top 10 finish.
I agree with you there. I think momentum does carry over, but that's why I'm going to go with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. There's one driver amongst these group of 5 that can say he's finished every single race this season in the top 20. That name is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So go ahead and give me Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's on a great roll. 15th last week at Martinsville, second in the dirt. Everything's in the top 20. I like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. amongst these group of drivers. In Group 5, we've got Buescher, Suarez, Chastain, Alfredo, and Custer. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Chris Buescher. Boy, listen to that Radioactive. This past week, he is one hot driver, and he's going to be out for revenge. He had the better car last week, and I thought at Martinsville amongst some of these other drivers. So, yeah, go ahead and give me Chris Buescher. What about for you, William?
I'm going to pick Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez last week wasn't so hot, but the week before, he was hot temper-wise. But the couple of weeks before, they went to the Bristol dirt. He ran extremely well there. Nearly won the race. And Atlanta ran in top 10. So, you know what? In the past, he's been up and down at Richmond. And I do think he will bring home a top 10 finish for the new Trackhouse Racing team.
Okay, there we go there. And then the last group is Group 6. What a tough group this is. You've got Briscoe, Priest, Jones, LaJoie, and McDowell. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Ryan Preece again. The thing that I like about Ryan Preece is in 3 races at Richmond, 2 of them are in the top 20. And then he also beat Jones last year. And Jones was in a better car last year running for JGR. So able to beat Jones in worse equipment. I'm going to go ahead and take Ryan Preece. What about for you?
I like the Ryan Priest pick, and it's kind of a challenging here. I got Eric Jones and Chase Briscoe. Briscoe hasn't been so well, but you know what? I'm going to go with Briscoe, though. He's been having it rough. Like I said, Daytona wrecks early, and then he go to the road course inside the top 5 with 10 to go, has his hood come up. And then they go to Homestead. He gets into the wall, and then they go to Vegas. And just bad luck has been around him, surrounding him, if you will. But I think he's going to get things turned around because last week at Martinsville, a lot of people saw the 14 car multiple laps down, and then towards the end of the race, he got it inside the top 10. And it surprised me. And you know what? He's got what it takes to run inside the top 10, and I do think he will finish inside the top 10 this Sunday, and that will be his first career top 10 finish.
Yeah, he definitely did surprise me last week, the way he battled back and came back towards that end of that race. All right, we're down to the meat of the show. We got to give them a winner, and we got to give them a second place. Why don't you go first, William? Who's winning, and who you got coming in second?
All right, here. On my Pick 5 contest video, my winner is going to be the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr. Truex has been really fast on the short tracks this year, if you will. I know Phoenix is a mile track, but it is run like a short track, and he won that race in a dominating fashion. And then you got Martinsville this past Sunday, or Saturday night and Sunday. He was really fast there, so I'm going to pick Truex for the win. And runner-up to him will be the 9-car Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, I think he's going to have a good performance and finish runner-up to Martin Truex Jr.
All right, man. You picked a bug with me. Mentioned Martinsville on Saturday night. I still have no idea why NASCAR is so hell-bent on trying to get in 30, 40 laps. It was just so meaningless to me. So I didn't get that decision. All right, who's my winner? I'm also going Martin Truex Jr. Hard to go back-to-back, but the one stat that hasn't been mentioned yet is he didn't win any of his 81st short track races. He's now won 5 of the last 11 short track races. For everything you just said, I like Martin Truex Jr. this week. And for second place, I'm going to go and say Austin Dillon. Boy, watching that race last week at Richmond was just super, super impressive. I think he's going to be in that top 10, top 5 all day long. And let's see if he can't pull out a nice second place finish for us there on the Jackpot Races. All right, that's how we're going to do it this week for a chance to win $25,000 on the Jackpot Races. William, you mentioned the Pick 5 contest. Did anybody win last week? And what do people got to do this week to go ahead and enter this week's Pick 5 contest?
All you're going to have to do is go down below to the comment section of my video and type in your top 5. If you go 5 for 5, you get an autographed hero card or a personal card. I got a Richard Petty autograph right here ready to give away. And, yeah, I mean, if you go 4 for 5, you get an unsigned hero card. I got plenty of those. So, yeah, just go comment down below in my Pick 5 video, your top 5, and you never know. You might win a prize, a cool prize, too.
All right, I'll link all of William's information in this video description. Again, make sure you go check out William Blackwell, putting out excellent content every single week, recapping and previewing the race. And then, great, he's giving away free stuff, folks. Pick 5 contest. All you got to do is predict that top 5, and you can walk away with some really cool memorabilia swag, courtesy of William Blackwell. All right, William, it was a good time this week hanging out. Let's enjoy the race on Sunday, and we'll see you back here next week. Have a good one. All right, guys, it's just me now. Sorry about that video freezing there. Of course, it had to freeze right at the end of our interview, and William Blackwell was just telling you guys how much of an awesome stuff he's doing at his channel in that Pick 5 contest. Do go ahead and check out his channel and enter that Pick 5 contest. You can win a lot of great stuff. All you got to do is correctly predict the top 5 there in NASCAR. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead now and give you guys the Fox Bet Super 6, that Clint Boyer Stage 2 chance where we can win $10,000. As you know, all these questions, all 6 questions revolve around the first 2 stages and what will happen in the race up until Stage 2 of the race, the completion of Stage 2. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get in our answers for this $10,000 prize. All right, question 1 is who's going to have the best finishing position? I'm going to go ahead and say Denny Hamlin. I like Truex Jr. this week, obviously, but he seems to maybe come on, later on in this and on in these races, and particularly in Stage 3 is when he's just really strong after his team makes the necessary adjustments that team is doing. So with it being at the end of Stage 2, I'll go ahead and give it to Denny Hamlin. Who's going to have the fastest lap? Well, I'm going to go ahead and say Brad Keselowski of these 3 drivers. I mean, look, he is the only driver of these 3 that I really even trust right now. And of these 3 drivers, he absolutely just dominated the field last year, going on to win that race at Richmond. He had an excellent long car and just blew away the competition. So at Richmond, you do get long runs, and I expect him at some point to put down the fastest lap amongst these 3 drivers. Question 3 is what's going to be the number of cautions? Well, I went ahead and looked it up. There was 3 in 2002. There was 5 in both the spring and the fall race in 2019. And there was 3 cautions in that 2018 fall race. I'll go ahead and say 3 because keep in mind this is asking at the end of, stage 2. And while I think that math says there's going to be 4 cautions overall, again, it's only asking at the end of stage 2. So I'll go ahead and say 3, but just a tough question there. Question 4 is how many Joe Gibbs Racing drivers are going to finish in the top 5? I'll go ahead and say more than 1. I think Denny Hamlin is all but a guarantee, and then you're hoping, Truex Jr. can possibly get up in there, maybe a Kyle Busch or a Christopher Bell. So with Hamlin being a near a lock and Truex Jr. being really, really strong as he's been this season, and especially on short tracks here lately, I'm going to go ahead and say more than 1 there for that one. Question 5 was which manufacturer is going to have the most cars in the top 10? I'll go ahead and say Chevrolet for this one. I like the possibility of any combination of these drivers being in the top 10. I like Elliott. I like Byron. I like Larson, Dillon, Reddick, Stenhouse Jr., Kurt Busch, and Bowman there all drive Chevy, and I like all those guys that have a good chance of getting in the top 10 or at least having a really good possibility. And then question 6 is team with the most drivers in the top 5. I'll go ahead and say tie. I can make a case that all these teams are really strong there when we look at really at this racetrack when we're looking at the Hendricks and the Gibbs camp there. I just see it being a tie at the end of the day, so I'll go ahead and answer that one a tie. All right, guys, that's all I'm going to do it there for a chance to win $10,000 on the Fox Bet Super 6 app, and then we got the $25,000 there on the Jackpot Races. Come back next week here on our weekly NASCAR show. I'll be joined by William Blackwell again, where we'll break down the Jackpot Races, and then I'll do the Fox Bet Super 6 app there again solo. Enjoy this race on Sunday at the Richmond Raceway there, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.